Oh my goodness, this is a fucking wonderful chapter, and it's such a great way to just start the day off of all the weekly chapters. Just Hunter x Hunter. Reading this chapter first thing in the morning just made me super fucking happy, because when I see this chapter, I'm just sitting here fangasming the entire time, because getting to see such an epic fight between Kuroro and Hisoka, it amazes me every week. But then when you add in all these different tactics and strategy on top of that with these different moves and how each individual character is trying to outsmart each other, or mainly how Kuroro is trying to outsmart Hisoka and Hisoka is trying to figure out what Kuroro is doing, it's so enjoyable. And throughout this entire chapter, the chapter that just came out today, I'm just left utterly speechless, because what happened to Hisoka? Oh fuck. Oh fuck. His entire hand just exploded. His fingers and shit are gone. And he was holding the head, to be exact. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's not good. This doesn't look like it's going to be going in Hisoka's favor if it continues this. Because, I mean, now with bombs starting to play a huge part in this battle, Sun and Moon now being activated, but thanks to Kuroro using the ability, it adds a whole new layer to this fight. And Hisoka right now, he's in a bad spot. He really is in a bad spot. I read this chapter a couple times to just get a good grasp on it, and when you see how Hisoka's thinking about the different strategies Kuroro is using, like how he's using the bookmark, and when he's switching over to, you know, from Gallery Fake to Sun and Moon, and then how he's using these different abilities, and how he can use Sun and Moon with just one hand, and then, you know, how he's placing them on the different copies to keep them around, even if the spell is already deactivated. It's really cool getting to see this dynamic in the fight. But then on top of that, when Hisoka is starting to think, like, okay, so obviously Kuroro is making a different copy every second, like 2 copies maybe every second, or 1 copy every second, he's making them, and the longer I wait, the harder this battle is going to become, because that would mean that he can get many copies out there to come at me, and they could all be strapped with bombs, which would be very, very bad for his situation. And so, as he's thinking about this in his mind, he's in the middle of the audience. He's just sitting here like, okay, so Kuroro is, you know, kind of doing bad on time right now, because, you know, you have the people that's going to be coming in very soon, that's probably going to drag out the copies. The copies are going to be rendered useless because they're going to be taken out of the stadium thanks to the paramedics coming in to save everybody. So it would kind of go against what Kuroro is trying to do. So Hisoka was having to buy his time. He's just having to wait around and wait until that happens, but obviously Kuroro is not going to give Hisoka that time, and so he goes in, which was really good, by the way. I like how you have it to where Hisoka gets distracted, and he's looking around, and Kuroro goes for the audience, and then he tells on the speaker, and he does an announcement like, break Hisoka. That shit right there, I was like, yo, that shit's so fucking epic, dude. You just see fucking all these different copies just jumping out of the fucking stands. Like, it's ridiculous when you see about, oh god, a good 100, way more than what Hisoka even expected to begin with. And as soon as I saw this scene, I had that Hunter x Hunter music playing in my head, like, you know, the last battle music when you see Netro versus Meruem going at it. I had that song playing in my head as this happened. You just see Hisoka grabbing, like, 5 people, making them into a human hammer, just slamming their ass all around. That shit was just so exciting when you just see that shit going on. Just all of these damn copies just getting slammed in a circle thanks to Hisoka, and you just see this demonic smile from him as he's getting, like, turned on. He's like, oh yes, this is great. Like, seriously, I would love to see this anime. Just imagine the voice actor of how much fun he most likely would be having with Hisoka right now. I mean, just imagine that scene in this chapter when Hisoka just smiles all evilly and all that, and he just grabs 5 people, uses them as a hammer, he's just slapping them all around. That shit got me hyped. I was really fucking hyped, and that's kind of why I guess this video is titled Reaction to Anything, is because mainly I'm just reacting to the chapter than actually, you know, doing a review. But still, this chapter, though, there is still some very good points I need to discuss. For one, the point that we need to actually kind of consider is that at the end of the chapter, we know that Kuroro is using black voice. We see it. He's talking on the phone, and so he's using one of the antennas. But the main thing we have to wonder right now is how the bomb went off. How did Sun and Moon explode? Now, the head exploded that Hisoka was holding. And the main question we have right now, Was the sun and moon symbol on the head, or was it on something else? And here I got something that I want to discuss. Now, I don't know if anyone else thought about this, but I'm just going to throw it on out there. Now, as we know, gallery fake, when, different copies are made, they're there. It's supposed to disappear when the spell is dispelled, Kuro changes the book page, but thanks to Sun and Moon being on the copy will not disappear even if the spell is deactivated. So, it will always remain there until the end of time, until the body explodes, or, the Sun and Moon still touches each other, and then it explodes. And from the way the head looked, I highly doubt Hisoka would make the mistake of not noticing the Sun and Moon symbol on the head. I just don't think Hisoka is that stupid. He's very intelligent, and we've already seen, if you thought he was stupid, we've already seen in this fight how intelligent Hisoka could be. I mean, if you thought he was stupid, but we already know he's not. So, because of this, I highly doubt that Hisoka would not see a Sun and Moon symbol on that head he was holding. So the main question is, how did the head explode exactly? What really happened in that instant? What happened to make that head explode? And the only thing I could think of after wrapping my mind around it and thinking about looking at the chapter multiple times, reading it over and over, I'm like, okay, we know gallery fake will stay around, and we know it'll be there until the body explodes. What if, let's say, Kuro, he put the Sun and Moon symbol on the back, okay? He just sat it on the back of the clone. And when he sat it on the back, it's like, let's say, the moon symbol. And all of a sudden, he decides to do it to this exact same body. He puts the sun symbol somewhere else, and then he has another clone or someone put the sun symbol on that clone's dead body. For instance, the decapitated body, no head attached, okay? I just want to get that vision out there. So imagine a body with the sun symbol on the back, head's gone, it's already been killed off by Hisoka, but apparently, Hisoka has the head of that body. He's currently holding the head of that body that got decapitated, and he's using it as a weapon, which at the end of the chapter we see. Now, what if, the person that Kuro was talking to on the phone, he was saying, okay, go touch the symbol on the body that Hisoka is holding, and then explode it. What if the explosion, since technically Gallery Fake's head is connected to that body, and it was Sun and Moon that's keeping it still there? For instance, even though the head is detached, the head will not disappear. The head does not disappear even if it's detached. You would think, since detached, maybe the head would disappear, and only the body portion that's connected to the Sun and Moon would still be around. But it's, still there. Both sides are still there. So what this means is, what if, even though the head doesn't have the Sun and Moon symbol on it, but it does have the symbol somewhere on its body, does that mean if that body explodes, the head also explodes? Which means that Hisoka cannot be grabbing body parts of clones and using them as weapons, or he could try to turn them into weapons, but if he holds them too close, the heads and different body parts he uses as weapons to fight people with, or fight the different clones that Kuro is sending to him, might explode in his hand. It's like he's holding a fucking grenade in his hand. So, that's what I think is going on here. I believe that Kuro exploded the body, and thanks to the body exploding, it exploded the head, since it's still attached technically to Sun and Moon. Hopefully you understand where I'm going with that, because that's the only thing I could think of when I saw that final page of the chapter, how it exploded in his hand, and if so, that's incredibly deadly, because that means Hisoka cannot use the head as a, bowling ball to smash people's heads in. He can't do that anymore. Now, you would have to keep a distance and start fighting at a very long range from his opponents, which is exactly what Kuro wants, because he knows he cannot fight Hisoka up close in close range combat. It's already been shown. In this chapter, it's a perfect example. If you were to get too close to Hisoka, he will fuck your world up. He would straight up fuck you up, because when those people were coming at him, and it was a huge amount of people just rushing Hisoka, he still managed to overcome that and just smash them all. They were all pretty much pointless puppets compared to him. He was just crushing them as he, he's spinning the fucking human hammer around, and they were just coming into a meat grinder like it was nothing. And that just goes to show you, if you get near Hisoka, you're done. And we already saw an example of this when Kuro got too close to Hisoka. Even though it was kind of a clone, it was still that we could consider that kind of like Kuro. And when that clone came in to fight Hisoka a couple chapters back and was kicking him constantly, we saw how Hisoka was able to defend, react real fast, able to, fight back and do counter plans against whatever Kuro was trying to do. So fighting Hisoka up close is not the tactic you want to do. So Kuro has to use range. He has to continuously use range tactics, for instance, bombs, Sun and Moon, to get at Hisoka. And if he takes away this close range combat, the weapons that Hisoka loves using so much, what can he really use? Because, I mean, think about it. Hisoka loves using his bungee gun to attach different things, using different things he grabs as weapons. weapons. I mean, look, he grabbed Kuro on the leg and was actually going to, use him and just slam on the fucking ground and shit, but thankfully that was a clone, and if that would have been Kuro, that would have been GG for Kuro. He would have been dead. He would have been dead as fuck. So, Hisoka is not someone you want to get close to, because if he sticks you, you're done. You're just dead. You're done. So, that right there just goes to show you the danger, and now with Kuro doing this, taking away the close-range battle from Hisoka, he now has to fight at a range, which is exactly what Kuro wants. Now, moving past that, when it comes to the hand part of Hisoka with him losing his hand, I don't think that's going to be permanent. I think eventually he will fix it. I mean, we've seen examples of stuff like this in the past, so I don't believe that's GG to his hand. I believe it will eventually come back, so I'm not going to be really upset about that overall, but it does put him in a spot, because right now, he cannot use his hand. I mean, if his hand is messed up right now, that just destroys a lot of different things when it comes to the left side of his body, so, yeah. Anyways, chapter overall of Hunter x Hunter. Oh my god, it's always such a pleasure reading Hunter x Hunter weekly and knowing that I have a new chapter to read every Thursday, because with this past year, with no new chapter of Hunter x Hunter, I was absolutely upset. Because, I mean, Hunter x Hunter is personally one of my favorite series to read. It really is. It was my favorite series to watch when it was coming out, and it was my favorite series to read. And I know Berserk is still higher than it in my personal regard, my opinion, but I love Hunter x Hunter. It's one of my personal favorite shonen series I've ever read. And getting to see this weekly and notice of a hiatus next week or something, it makes me so happy. But speaking about this, I need to take a moment to talk about this because I found out about this very recently, and it's something I need to discuss because it was announced recently on different news networks of anime and manga. Apparently, Togashi came out and said what has been happening recently with, how he's been on constant hiatuses. And there's been many out there. I've seen it in my comments in certain videos of Hunter x Hunter. I've never personally went on to that and started making fun of Togashi for his breaks. I've actually went out of my way to defend Togashi, why he had to take breaks, even going as far as to make, parody videos. Maybe he might be a Shida. But still, overall, besides trolling jokes or anything like that, I still always cared about Togashi's health. I always said we need to look at the bigger picture. If he really is hurt, his back is hurt, he has all rights to take breaks. And we don't know. We're not Togashi. We're not right next to him. We don't know how sick he is. And he finally came out and said that he has been hurting really bad. His back has been pretty much fucked up. He couldn't do shit. And even in his offer comments we see every week when it comes to Weekly Shonen Jump, we get to see some of the things he says. He's like how his back hurts. He's like, the funny thing about the back is that when the back starts to heal, you can finally go to the hospital. And that's really sad and depressing. When the other ones, when he's like saying, I'm on all fours, need to get to the hospital, help. I mean, it's just very sad seeing some of these offer comments he makes and how so many people made fun of Togashi thinking he was playing Dragon Quest and stuff. And I mean, some might be thinking it was jokes or whatnot, but I mean, if I was Togashi and it got huge publicity, the entire Dragon Quest stuff, it got huge publicity, and I mean, you have to go figure Togashi most likely does care about his series, and he probably looked up what people say about his series and probably eventually saw what people were saying about Hunter x Hunter. For instance, oh, the reason why Hunter x Hunter is not coming out is because Togashi's lazy or he's playing Dragon Quest, and that probably got to him. It probably did. I mean, it would get to me if I wrote a very good series and I had people just writing this stuff all about me when I'm having back trouble and I can't move and I keep seeing this type of stuff, and honestly, it's nobody's business to know that I have these type of health problems. I mean, I said my back was hurting, but do I need to dive in and show you my x-rays how bad my back is? So I can understand, how Togashi is probably upset with that. And it just saddens me so much how he had to come out and say something like that and address that, because so many people were kind of saying, oh, he's lazy and stuff. But yeah, it was a, little topic I had to discuss real quick at the end of this, chapter, reaction, because I saw it, I saw some people tweeting that to me on Twitter, and I just wanted to discuss it because it's sad seeing how so many made fun of him, and the truth is, he was really hurt and couldn't do his series that he wanted. He cares. You could tell he does care about Hunter x Hunter, but his health has been very, very poor. So you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.